A truck 4 days old. The engine is gone. Not damaged, gone. The owner is now 5 months into a warranty claim, still making payments on a vehicle he can't drive. That's not a rare story. According to NHTSA complaint filings reviewed for this video, over 4.6 million vehicles from Toyota, Honda, GM, and Hyundai currently sit under active recall or federal investigation for engine failure. And some of the models involved are still on dealer lots today. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which engines are on that list, why it's happening, how we got here. 10 years ago, a Camry came with a naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder. Simple, proven, the kind of engine a mechanic could diagnose blind. The F-150 had a V8. The Silverado had a V8. These were engines that had already been through a decade of real-world testing before you ever sat in the driver's seat, and nobody worried about what was under the hood. Then federal fuel economy rules, the EPA's CAFE standards, forced every automaker to shrink displacement while keeping horsepower numbers competitive on paper. The fix across the entire industry was almost identical. Bolt a turbocharger to a smaller block and call it innovation. Same horsepower rating, better fuel economy number. Everybody wins, at least according to the spreadsheet. Except physics doesn't read spreadsheets. A turbocharger shaft spins up to 300,000 revolutions per minute. Oil temperatures spike past 300 degrees Fahrenheit under load. And to hit those fuel economy targets, manufacturers didn't just add a turbo. They also switched to ultra-thin synthetic oils, 0W16 and 0W20, that provide meaningfully less protection under extreme heat than the 5W30 that used to be the industry default. Layer in start-stop technology cycling the engine on and off hundreds of times a week, and layer in COVID-era supply chain shortcuts that introduced documented manufacturing defects in 2021 and 2022. And what you get is an entire generation of engines running closer to their failure threshold than any generation before them. The recalls landing right now, brand by brand, are that math finally catching up with the people who bought the cars? Toyota, the one that broke trust. Toyota spent 3 decades earning the most trusted reputation in the industry. People paid a premium for a Tundra specifically because of the 5.7-liter V8, an engine that would routinely cross 300,000 miles on nothing more than oil changes and basic maintenance. That reputation is the entire reason this next part matters. In 2022, Toyota retired the V8 and introduced the 3.4-liter twin-turbo V, branded the iForce Max. What Toyota didn't disclose at launch was that during manufacturing at its Alabama and Tahara facilities, machining debris, engineers call it swarf, microscopic metal shavings left behind in the production process, was getting trapped inside oil passages and bearing bores. That debris circulated through the lubrication system and destroyed rod bearings from the inside out. The result wasn't a slow decline in performance. It was sudden, total engine failure, with no warning light and no time to safely pull over. Toyota's first response was a recall covering 2022 through 2024 Tundras, with a fix centered on an updated oil flow control valve. Owners brought their trucks in, repairs were made, and the failures kept happening. By December 2025, Toyota expanded the recall again, acknowledging publicly that the original repair may not have fully solved the problem. By May 2026, Toyota confirmed the machining debris as the definitive root cause and began issuing full short block engine replacements industry-wide. Here's the detail that should concern you most. Owners of 2025 Tundras, people who bought their trucks after the first recall was supposedly resolved, are still reporting the exact same catastrophic failure pattern in 2026. And this isn't isolated to the Tundra nameplate. That same engine powers the Sequoia, the Lexus GX, and the Lexus LX. If you assume stepping up to a Lexus badge would insulate you from this, it won't. The badge changes. The engine underneath it doesn't. The risk follows the powertrain, not the logo on the grille. Here's the part most videos on this topic skip entirely. You can check right now, in under 2 minutes, whether your specific vehicle is affected, for free, at NHTSA.gov. I'm going to show you exactly where to look on screen. And later in this video, I'll run a real VIN live so you can see precisely what the result looks like and what to do with it. GM. 2 failures, 1 root cause. GM's problem sits at both ends of its lineup, and once you see the mechanism, you'll notice it's the same story wearing 2 different outfits. a fuel-saving feature that outran the engineering underneath it. Start with the half-ton trucks: Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, Yukon, Suburban. Some of the best-selling vehicles in the country. Vehicles real families depend on every single day for work and for their kids. GM's active fuel management system deactivates cylinders on the highway to save fuel. In practice, NHTSA complaint filings document a chain reaction. The deactivation system causes lifters to collapse, and when a lifter collapses, it takes the camshaft down with it, sending metal debris through the entire engine. The result is total, irreversible destruction. There are documented complaints of these engines failing in fewer than 500 miles, before the first oil change, before the first monthly payment had even cleared. Now the other end of the lineup, GM's 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder, found in the Chevy Trax, Trailblazer, Buick Envista, and Buick Encore GX. These are entry-level crossovers, the car parents buy for a college kid, the car retirees choose as a simple daily driver. Owners are reporting premature internal failures, bearing damage, connecting rod failure, oil leaks, and in the most serious cases, complete and sudden loss of propulsion while driving. This isn't happening at 150,000 miles. It's happening at 30,000 to 50,000 miles on vehicles 2 or 3 years old. In March 2026, a class action lawsuit was filed against GM over this engine. GM has already established a $25 million settlement fund, and plaintiffs include owners of 2024 Chevy Trax vehicles, last year's model, not some aging design nobody buys anymore. Here's the critical detail. Because there is no official recall yet, many owners are being told by dealerships that these failures aren't covered. That's exactly why documentation matters right now. Every service visit, every symptom, every complaint filed with NHTSA builds the paper trail that gets an engine replaced at zero cost the moment a formal recall is issued. Based on the volume of complaints and the size of that settlement fund, that recall looks close to inevitable. If you're finding this information helpful, please hit like button and subscribe. Honda and Hyundai/Kia. Known problems, still shipping. Honda deserves a fair hearing here because Honda makes genuinely excellent engines. The J-Series V and K-Series 4-cylinder are both legitimately legendary power plants with strong long-term reliability records. The exception, and it's a real one, is the 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder found in the Accord, the CR-V, and select Acura models. This engine's first documented issue was oil dilution in cold weather. Raw, unburned fuel contaminating the engine oil, to the point where owners would check the dipstick and find the oil level mysteriously high, topped off with gasoline instead of oil. Gasoline-contaminated oil cannot properly lubricate an engine. That's not a matter of opinion, that's chemistry. Honda issued software updates adjusting cold start parameters and told owners the issue was resolved. Now a second, more serious failure mode is emerging in the same engines. Head gasket failure, showing up at 40,000 to 60,000 miles. When that gasket fails, coolant leaks directly into the combustion chamber, causing catastrophic internal damage, with repair bills climbing to $5,000, $6,000, even $7,000 on vehicles with barely 2 years of real-world use. Class action filings are already underway, and this engine remains active in the current Accord, CR-V, and select Acura models built as recently as 2025. If you own one, the move is simple. Talk to your dealer today about exactly what warranty protection applies to your specific build date. Don't wait for a recall notice to ask. Hyundai and Kia's story is longer and darker. The 2.0-liter Theta 2.4-cylinder was installed across millions of vehicles over more than a decade, and what it delivered was, without exaggeration, a nightmare. Rod-bearing failures, piston ring erosion, engine seizures, and engine fires, including vehicles parked and sitting in driveways and garages. NHTSA logged over 14,000 complete engine failure complaints tied to this engine. Hundreds of millions of dollars in class action settlements followed, along with congressional investigations and federal safety penalties. This wasn't a niche recall. By scale, it's the largest engine failure crisis in Korean automotive history. To Hyundai and Kia's credit, both brands have largely transitioned to newer SmartStream engines, and that progress is real and worth acknowledging plainly. But here's what isn't acceptable. The Kia Seltos, which sold over 80,000 units in the US last year, still ships with a version of the Theta 2 engine in certain trim levels. In 2026, after every lawsuit, after every recall, after every congressional hearing on this exact failure pattern. If you're shopping for a Seltos, ask this question before you sign anything. Does this specific trim carry the 2.0-liter Theta engine or the 1.6-liter SmartStream Turbo? That single question could be the difference between reliable transportation and a $6,000 engine repair 3 years from now. Ask it and get the answer in writing. Ford and Volkswagen, the pattern repeats. Ford's 1.5-liter EcoBoost 3-cylinder, found in the Escape and Bronco Sport, fails through coolant intrusion directly into the cylinders, overheating, total loss of compression, and when that sequence begins, it isn't a repair situation. It's a full engine replacement, running $4,000 to $6,000 on a vehicle you may still be making payments on. What makes this a pattern rather than an isolated problem is that Ford has been here before. Earlier EcoBoost engines, the 1.5-liter and 1.6-liter 4-cylinder versions, faced major class action lawsuits over this exact same coolant intrusion failure years ago. Ford made engineering changes and stated publicly that the issue had been resolved. And here in 2026, the same failure pattern is emerging again, this time on a newer, even more highly stressed 3-cylinder design. A company doesn't need to repeat a mistake twice for it to matter, but Ford has now done exactly that. Volkswagen and Audi's EA888 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder has been in continuous production for 16 years. Volkswagen recently settled a massive class action covering turbocharger failures on vehicles going back to 2008 through 2024. A second, separate class action targets catastrophic oil consumption tied to defective piston rings, severe enough that the only fix is a complete engine replacement. And the 2026 VW Tiguan, sitting on dealer lots right now, still uses this engine, carrying 16 years of documented unresolved issues into a brand new model year. Why these engines fail? 3 mechanisms. It's worth understanding why this keeps happening across so many unrelated manufacturers, because the science explains the pattern better than any single company's decisions do. First, heat. A turbo's turbine runs at temperatures up to 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. Shut a hot turbo car off immediately after driving, and oil circulation stops instantly while the turbo itself is still scorching hot. The oil trapped against that hot bearing bakes into hard deposits. Every time this happens, those deposits build up a little more until they eventually restrict oil flow and the turbo begins failing quietly from the inside, long before you'd notice anything from the driver's seat. Second, oil starvation. A turbo bearing needs a constant, uninterrupted supply of clean oil. Old oil, degraded oil, or oil that's simply a little low all mean the bearing is running without proper lubrication. Turbo rebuild specialists consistently point to this, not age, not mileage, as the single most common cause of turbo failure. Third, carbon buildup. Modern turbocharged engines almost universally use direct fuel injection, meaning fuel never passes over the intake valves to clean them the way it used to. Carbon deposits accumulate on the back of those valves over time, restricting airflow and causing misfires and rough idle. Eventually, that requires a cleaning process mechanics call a walnut blast, something some owners are dealing with as early as 60,000 miles. Manufacturers understood all 3 of these failure modes well before these engines reached production. The open question was never whether these engines would fail. It was only ever a matter of when and who would be holding the bill when it happened. 2 engines that actually work. To be fair to the industry, not every turbocharged engine deserves this treatment, because 2 genuinely earned their reliability reputation. The BMW B58 3.0-liter inline-6 turbo, found in the 3 Series, 5 Series, X3, and X5, and, worth noting, also under the hood of the Toyota GR Supra, since BMW builds that engine, not Toyota, has virtually 0 significant recalls and almost no NHTSA complaints. Consumer Reports consistently ranks it among the most reliable modern turbocharged engines available. The honest caveat is that servicing costs more because it's a BMW, but the underlying engineering is genuinely proven. Honda's 1.5-liter VTEC turbo in the Civic, CR-V, and HR-V is the second example. Consumer Reports rates Honda above average for reliability overall, and this engine is a meaningful part of that record. There was a known cold weather oil dilution issue on 2016 to 2018 models, which Honda addressed through software updates, and on 2019 and newer models, that issue is largely resolved. For the price point, this is currently the best value turbocharged engine available in an affordable car. Good engineering exists in this space. It's simply not distributed evenly across the industry. What you should do right now. Check your VIN at NHTSA.gov for open recalls or investigations. It's free, takes 2 minutes, and could reveal a problem before symptoms appear. Change your oil every 5,000 miles instead of pushing 7,500 to 10,000. One extra oil change is nothing compared to a $7,000 engine replacement. Ask the dealer for your exact engine code and any recalls or NHTSA complaints tied to it. If they avoid the question, pay attention. Keep records of every service visit, warning light, and complaint. That documentation can make or break a warranty claim. Buying used. Spend about $150 on an independent inspection. And if your engine already failed, contact a lemon law attorney. The consultation may be free, and you could qualify for a replacement or refund. The turbo engine crisis is real, it's documented, and it's happening right now. Drop your car make and model in the comments. Tell me if you've had any issues, because your story could save someone else thousands of dollars. And if you enjoyed the content, smash that like button and subscribe for more auto content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.